Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Tracy, longtime inker for God almost 3 decades. Was a geek, quite a long time before that, reading comics. Have a encyclopedic knowledge of comics, well, Marvel mostly. Um, and I'm a three-time author. Amazon exclusive books. The Bands is a series, a prose novel series about a fictional band in Pittsburgh, PA, playing lots of clubs and bars, struggling to find recognition and survival of the band itself amidst clubs and bars owned by the Russian mob. So it's got everything in it. It's got rock and roll music. It's got a little coming of age stuff. It's got a little lots of violence, sex, everything you ever want. So give it a shot. Maybe there's previews on Amazon. Okay, now that was quick. That was probably my best pitch yet. Yay! Well, I've been thinking about this one for a long time, and I think you're going to get a kick out of it. The the theme this episode is going to be comic book superheroes who are just way too powerful to have ever joined superhero teams ever. Okay, yeah, that's right. Well, okay. Well, I'll start off with number one here, Firestorm. Now, this is from issue 4. I printed this out because I don't have that issue anymore for whatever reason. And basically, the JLA are trying to stop I think it's Killer Frost, and he has some kind of pact with her to save somebody else. So he takes on the Justice League, and it's like he's out of nowhere putting a kryptonite, snow globe all over Superman. And if it's that easy to take him out, I'm sorry, Firestorm's always been too powerful. I kind of bought the first couple issues of the original run. There was some Al Milgrom art inked by Bob McLeod, which really, really fleshed out Al's, his shapes. But Gary Conway created the character too, and as I even love the costume, although it is horribly corny and outdated by today's standards. I liked it at the time. I think something with flaming heads has something to do with it, like Ghost Rider. I always thought was cool for the same reason. So anyway, I picked up the new series because Pat Broderick did it in the first year. I kind of liked it, but he's just way too powerful, and it has this really contrived weakness. He can transmogrify inanimate objects, but living people, if he tries to zap them, then he gets this terrible feedback. So it's sort of a one note limitation, kind of like not unlike kryptonite. So it kind of got dumb, and it's just Firestorm. If you have these kind of powers, you could pretty much run the world if you want to, if you're smart enough at it. So Firestorm is a big no for me. I actually inked half an issue of an updated version of Firestorm around 2005, inking Eddie Barrows, I think, and it was a different. Secret identity and improved costume, and it was fun. Except I didn't get to ink any of the pages with the new Firestorm on them. It was all this, talking pages stuff. So enough with that. Okay, Firestorm number 1. Out. You're not allowed anywhere on a team because you're too effing powerful. Okay, number 2. The Sentry. Oh God, I hate the Sentry. And some people love him, some people hate him. I think that's JRJR drawing. Maybe it's not. The thing with him is he was created by Brian Michael Bendis, I believe, in the Avengers, like in the mid 2000s. Excuse me. And the story behind him is somewhat a clever ruse. The ruse was that Stan Lee created the character in the very early 60s, preceding the Fantastic Four. And there were some made up character sketches and notes supposedly of Sentry's creation. And a lot of older fans saw right through this gag, but a lot of readers bought it hook, line, and sinker. And Wizard was coy about it too. I mean, everybody at Wizard knew, I'm certain, but they kept their mouth shut. And I don't know much about Sentry because he just, I don't know. I look elsewhere. He's just super generic costume. It's just like the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel costume, very, very generic. That both of them could use improving. But according to Wikipedia, this guy's powers derived from a super soldier serum that created Cap, that America, for some reason, it made Sentry 100,000 times stronger. He can move molecules and an instant ahead for current timeline for reasons. He effortlessly punched Thor in a battle, sending him flying, producing shockwaves around the planet. He's one of the best telepaths. He's immune to Rogue's power-stealing mutant abilities. He effortlessly defeated Terrax, one of Galactus's heralds. Just go with it. And he emits light to pacify others. And, he can fucking plant his memories inside another person's mind. I know it's supposed to be over the top, but it's goddamn ridiculous. So he should never have been, it was sort of a jag at Superman, I think, that they, what if Superman was in the Marvel Universe, even though they had their own version, Hyperion, which was on another Marvel Earth. I don't know what it's called. Maybe it's Earth Grunwald. Anyway, he just stunk up the room, and it was just so. When I go about these characters saying how powerful they are, the problem is if you got a character that powerful, it makes the rest of the team superfluous, and there's really no need for the rest of the team, so it invalidates it. That sort of goes back to an old argument that Moondragon and Thor had back during the Steve Englehart era, where Moondragon just came on board, and she was kind of looking down at all the mortals. She considered herself a goddess, even though she was born of Earth. Anyway, she basically told Thor to leave the Avengers because he was too powerful to be among them, and he came back later. But different story. He didn't have telepathic abilities, and he didn't have blah, 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 blah. So this was just ridiculous. Goodbye, Sentry. I rambled on. I went astray, and I apologize. So, I'm going to go to another Captain Marvel, and who is now Photon. It's Monica Rambeau. She, after the Kree Captain Marvel died in the graphic novel that Jim Starlin did, and there was about less than a year time where Captain Marvel was a name that was up in the air, and so right away they had to make another Captain Marvel. And actually, she's the third. The Kree Captain was the second. Shazam, quote unquote, is the original Captain Marvel. Well, she first showed up as Spider-Man Annual, and she's a really cool character. She's from New Orleans. She's not from New York, and she's just very unsure of herself, even though she has these incredibly crazy powers. They're light-based powers, and they're radiation-based powers, and here we go. Annihilus in this issue of Fantastic Four, which crosses over with Fantastic Four. See, Byrne was good about doing that. He gestured this issue with his pal Roger Stern. So there's this barrier nobody could get through. So she does radio waves, she does cosmic rays, even gamma rays, and it's just. And finally, here we go. Did I get that right? Okay. So Annihilus is like, and all shall perish with me. So there she goes again, zipped around. And beautiful art. Like I said, I like this Captain Marvel's costume too a lot. I thought it was just very outside the box, very clever. So she becomes a gamma ray laser beam. And I don't know what the difference between that and gamma rays from before is, but and there goes the shield. So it's gone. So I mean, Captain Marvel, this Captain Marvel / Monica Rambeau / Photon, the other people didn't even need to be there. I mean, she saved the day, and it wasn't really something out of her ordinary things that she would do. She was with the Avengers. She joined around 227 and stayed until around 300 or so, and she was even the leader later on. But she even made Thor superfluous just now. I mean, she could have just, shot a bunch of, I don't know what kind of rays into Thor. And so, Monica Rambeau, I love you. I know you're Photon now. You're too goddamn powerful. You, Sentry, and Firestorm. That's good company, though. Let's not reduce the situation. And then another person that is too powerful for the team, and you're gonna laugh, is Giant Man. And although you would never know it, because in the comics they couldn't figure out, he was too big, too powerful, so they had to give him like really stupid limitations. This is the funniest cover ever. A giant man. He's 12 feet tall generally. Kirby changed sizes a lot as well. And El Toro is coming after him. He is not a superhero. He's not a supervillain. He has no powers except he's a leader of this South American small nation that is corrupt that he created. He's the corrupt one who took over. And all he's got is these cute little horns on his helmet. And he's hiding like a bitch. I'm like, oh, dear sweet Jesus. Not a man with horns. Not a man with no powers, no horns. So, anyway, hang on, honey. Here comes Giant Man. Right in the butt. Right in the butt. Now, unlike the tarantula who would show up later, created by Conway and Ross Andru, there's no poison at the end of the hood of those horns, which was really kind of dopey. So he's sitting there like, my ass is killing me. He's like, what was I drinking last night? So he's just on the run. It's like, if you're a fucking Giant Man, you just tear into him. So he's taking the train back, resting his ass because he got it really good. The Giant won. I battled you once in my irresistible charge, and I'll do it again. But Giant Man, he has this great strategy. He lets him go between his legs and falls out. And then all the people are getting free from Santa Rica, blah, blah, blah. Now, Giant Man, a.k.a. Actually, it was when he became Goliath in when he came back to the Avengers around issue 28 or so, he did sort of get more prominence. So he became more of a leader because he was one of the original Avengers that returned first time. So he was less of a wuss. But this series failed strictly because Ant-Man, when he was Ant-Man was too weak. Giant Man's just too friggin' powerful. And here's the thing. If Giant Man was done right, excuse me, I'm trying to make a long stretch over here. If he was done right, he would be... Oh, got it right here, silly me. He would be a major friggin' force of nature in any battle. Now, here we got... I got a fuzzy on me. Oh, I don't want to distract everybody. Now, Colossal Boy... Now, I didn't get into Legion of Superheroes, but my best friend told me about it. He says, oh, man, these guys, Levitz and Geffen and inker Larry Malstead, it's like they're doing incredible stuff. And he was a Marvel zombie like I was. And I'm like, well, if he likes it, I like it. So, Colossal Boy, he grows huge as his power. Look at that, he's tearing the whole place apart. He's just like effortlessly, that's what you do when you're a giant. And that said, Colossal Boy should not have been in the team. I know this is a whole different situation because they're all like last survivors of their planets or representatives of their individual planets. Apparently everybody can grow his size on his planet. I don't know where it is. I don't care. I'm just saying anybody with giant powers like this can't be in a team because let's say a handful of let's just say a handful of supervillains, even the Wrecking Crew, they wouldn't stand a chance against somebody like that. They might stub the Giant's big toe or something like that. But so no giant-sized character should ever be in a superhero team. Now I'm going to throw you another one here. Okay, this is out of the blue. This is from one of the Jack Kirby's omnibus that came out, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe. Well, there's Orion, who Kirby created with in a book called The New Gods. He did this whole Fourth World series of books that were intertwined. It was pretty much the first time that's been tried, like so steadily, and by one sole writer-artist. Like he went from this book to another new book, Miracle Man, to another new book, Forever People, then Jimmy Olsen, and then back, in rotation again. And he never looked back. He was always, and it was amazing how he did that. Oh, I'm getting off point. Anyway, Orion is probably the most badass character, protagonist that Kirby had ever created. And he created billions of characters. And the bad guy, I don't know if he's on his cover or not. The bad guy, Darkseid, he's got that big old stone head. Trying to find it. Anyway, it's not him, not him, not him, not him. I mean, see how intense and come on. Well, anyway, this character Darkseid, which everybody knows about, there he is, finally. Uh, he's evil incarnate. He's super, powerful. I don't think really anybody could take him down, to the best of my knowledge. He'd give Thanos a run for his money, if not more so. If you disagree, write in the comments below, please. I want to hear a firestorm of opinions down below. Oh, great pun, huh? Anyway, he's a bad guy. Highfather was a good guy. They both sired boys, and as a pact to create peace between Apocalypse and New Genesis, they switched babies, and they raised them as their own. So, pretty interesting stuff. But so Orion, he's just like this. He's part Darkseid. He's just this intense murder machine, and it takes him. He's just super powerful. Oh, that's so classic. Oh. And he's just kicking some ass. Now, he does that pretty much everywhere he does. And the team I mentioned him in is he was briefly in the Justice League. I think during the J.M. DeMatteis Geffen era, and then for sure in the he was in Justice League. Like issue with Grant Morrison, Howard Porter, John Dell, and then Grant Morrison, Howard Porter, and me on the inks. And he was in the team, and it's just kind of odd. It's like he could wipe the walls with all of them, except maybe Superman. But I really recommend this. You can get this real cheap on eBay if you can't find it at your local comic shop. It's written by Chuck Dixon. Incredibly expressionistic art by John Bogdanoff, inked by the mighty Kevin Nolan. And so what happens is, this was supposed to be just another Superman Aliens Part 2 crossover, and Chuck said, hey, can I bring in the New Gods? And that just added another level of excitement. And so there's Ryan with a face hugger. And he has one of those creatures in his chest, but it won't come out because he's just that powerful. And he's able to actually stand up and put words together. And, it's not... He says, I am the greatest warrior of New Genesis. The universe fears my name. I cannot be brought low by a parasite. Just amazing stuff. This is just, art lovers, comic lovers. What happens is he does get cured only because his papa, Darkseid, he's actually feeling bad in a weird way. Says this consequence was unforeseen. This is not a warrior's death. I will not see you die in this manner, not as a husk for a suborder of being. And he lives. The creature inside you does not. You save me. Why? You make it sound as though I've sinned against you. You're my enemy, but you're also my son. And that's it. It's really, really, really great stuff. So, but he's too powerful to be on. I'm sorry. It's like I think he's even he could give a Superman a run for his money, and that's and that goes for Wonder Woman too, because they're kind of similar size. Okay, here we go. Big ol' uncanny X-Men omnibus. Well, it won't take as moment you saw it. You know what I'm talking about. Jean Grey who was Marvel Girl a long, long time ago. And she grew up to be this, Farrah Fawcett, redhead, hot shot. And she flies this plane from space trying to get through solar flares to get back home. Long story. And she's hoping her psychic shields can hold up. And the solar flare is happening. And this is a great ending here. Now, I read this in real time, Jack. And I friggin' reread this. I reread the book was bi-monthly because Dave Cockrum was also doing cover art and some art direction stuff. So it was a long 2 months between issues, and I must have reread these a billion times. I could probably quote them. And then she gets reborn as Phoenix. And now this is not immediately made apparent. It's sort of like they kind of overlook it. It's like they almost don't want to admit how it happened, or want to search and find out why. And there's some vague assumption that it's maybe her psychic abilities got jacked up 1,000-fold, and she's a powerful Phoenix. Well, so here we go again. It's like this is Phoenix just cleaning the clock with one of Galactus's heralds, and when I saw that, not to mention I fucking hate Firelord. He is such a smug jackass, and long story. Eric the Red shows up. Not important at this moment. Look at that. That design was so great, man. Cockrum just really he was the shit. Him and Byrne and Perez, they were just making real magic. As for you, Firelord, you just made the biggest mistake of your life, because I am Phoenix. And she not only does she take them down, I'm skipping over that, she transports them to this other universe using her powers. And I gotta show you. Of course, you got have the money shot of the pseudo Legion of Superheroes that Cockrum designed, each and every one of them, which are still characters to this day used in Marvel. So she's just so powerful that when you're doing this kind of stuff, the rest of the team just doesn't matter. And I know this is different. They're kind of a family. They're all mutants, although she's beyond mutant at this point. Years later, in issue Fantastic Four, John Byrne, Chris Claremont, of all people, also, and I don't know, I think Jim Shooter, maybe Bob Layton, they decided Phoenix wasn't actually her. It was this host body, and the real Jean Grey is not there. But it doesn't matter. This was years ago. I remember reading the later issues, and she was around, and she wasn't really an active member of the X-Men, but it was just, she was just too powerful. It's like I really felt like, why are they even, why do they even have her around, or why would she bother hanging around with them, or, they could do early retirement and let her take over all the world's problems. So, anyway, Phoenix, nope, shouldn't be in a team. Just, it's just pointless. Okay. I ain't done yet, man. Not by a long shot. And I don't mean long shot, that mullet-headed guy with the leather. Okay. Incredible Hulk. This is a pretty cool Al Milgrom cover. I think he did it. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Well, this was during a period. Epic Collection, the huge trade paperbacks are wildly popular, but 5-6 years ago, such was not the case. Actually, it was 10 years ago. And they did these, they call them proto-epics. So they collected these random, they just started a certain period, and then they finished. And what happened basically is the Hulk got pardoned. He got a presidential pardon because he got Banner's mind, and he apologized. And I mean, it sounds silly to say apology, but he basically does a lot of good, and he even gets a presidential pardon, and they even had a parade for him, and all the heroes showed up, and they even made a statue for him out of Ms. MODOK. That's so dopey. Not the design, just the idea. So not even the great Bill Manilow can bat 1,000, but I'll give him 999. So Gary Talek on the inks here. Okay, there we go. That's where he gets celebrated. And we're catching up here. Now, after Secret Wars, he starts to regress back into a bestial kind of, or is it bestial, kind of mindset. This was just an exciting book. And eventually he turns all monster. And there's no real trace of Banner to be found. So anyway, I know you're saying, gosh, golly, Drew, you're really getting off track. Au contraire. Thor slams Hulk. And this adamantium statue that was made for him, he's actually crunching it in his hands and throwing it. Now, adamantium, ever since Roy Thomas and Barry Windsor Smith introduced him back in Avengers 66, it's supposed to be indestructible. It's supposed to be only malleable if it's at this super multi-thousand degrees heat, some kind of, only that way as a like an ore. I'm not even saying making sense now, but and also when they did this as an adamantium statue, Alicia Masters did it, of course, because there's only one of everything in the Marvel universe. Of one discipline, like Dr. Don Blake's the only doctor around. So I thought, this is kind of like a big waste of taxpayer dollars. Not to mention, it's just pointless. Why would you make an adamantium statue when you could do like an adamantium, I don't know, like, some kind of cover for, the White House or something like that, or safe place, or just anything else. I mean, or at a military base, something that's portable. But I love this because Sal Buscema got to do full pencils for the first time in a long time. So I know since the movie came out, the Hulk's come back into the team of the Avengers, and just what was brilliant in the first issue of Avengers was he joined up, and but the second issue, by the end of it, he quit because he saw how the others saw him as a monster, and he was still sort of a monster at the time. But so Hulk, I'm sorry, not a team player. Nope. Although the MCU makes it a lot of fun. It is fun to see him in the MCU. Okay, now I'm going a little off track now. Now, the Silver Surfer. I really recommend this Epic Collection. It covers the J.M. DeMatteis and Ron Garney era of Silver Surfer, which happened right about the time of Heroes Reborn, the Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Avengers, and something else I can't think. Captain America. They got shunted off to the Imageverse, and they were done by Jim Lee and Liefeld and all their studios. In the meantime, FF were not allowed to be played in the regular Marvel Universe. Now, this really upset me because it was the first time ever that they segregated the Marvel Universe. They were always together, and it's now for a year. You can't get a FF, you can't get Captain America or the Avengers. It just broke my heart when I saw that. And, what was done with it was kind of cool for like a hot minute, and then it started, growing hair pretty fast. It got kind of moldy after a while. You just couldn't wait for it to end. And heck, I even inked like part of the last issue of Iron Man. They were calling everybody. They said, what was it? Wildstorm Studio. So I was one of like 45 Wildstorm Studio guys for a minute. But he's too powerful too, even to be in the Defenders. Now, the Hulk's already too tough to be in the Defenders. I don't know why the Hulk would hang around the Defenders so much. I mean, especially he'd be happy some of the time, and when Hulk is happy Happy Hulk is not Hulk anymore. He becomes spindly Bruce Banner. So Silver Surfer was an early member of the Defenders for like a year or so maybe, and I just gotta show off this cover. Ron Garney and Bob Wiacek. And there was a not Marvel Age, it was something called Marvel Vision that served as Marvel Age as a in-house promotional magazine, and it talked about this new creative team. I just couldn't wait to see it. And look how effortless that looks. Garney said he wanted to get a bit of a Mobius feel to the character, which he succeeds at. And there's the Hulk. Now, okay, the Hulk's trying to get to him. He's got one of his shields up, one of his power cosmic, and he just leaves him, like as he did many times before. So Silver Surfer, too powerful to be in any team. You don't need anybody else when you got him. Okay? Now, this is off the beat track. This is not quite, it was just a random thought I wanted to add, but Captain Universe, I'm like, why don't they just fucking throw Captain Universe into the Avengers? Because they already have the friggin' Sentry, and the Hulk and all that, who just could crush them all. And Captain Universe could probably do even more than that. He first appeared in Micronauts. This is a reprint. It's better paper, and Butch Geist does some of the opening art. And Captain Universe is not a specific character. It is this alien life force slash energy that basically the tagline was that hero could be you. So like they would have somebody that was a cat burglar, he gets powers and he gets reformed, and then there's even a later he shows up a lot of times. There's a boy who becomes Captain Universe to help save his family and stuff, or a lot of stuff going on. I love the design. But Bandlo and Steve Ditko did several issues of Marvel Spotlight with him, like nice color holds. But anyway, this guy would be too powerful. But my whole joke is, if it is a joke, if it's funny, I don't know. Let's just say it's snarky of me to say this, but I'm going to do a future episode of how certain comics you could read with your 3D glasses on. It's friggin' awesome. Anyway, I mean, Captain Universe is, he's one of those guys who could pretty much do anything, and he's given Baron Karza hell at the height of Baron Karza's powers. And so that's my list of like the most powerful characters that should never, ever, ever join a team because it's pointless. It's a neat idea, like sticking Orion into the JLA was a neat idea, but it's just, that was a Grant Morrison thing. Grant Morrison tends to go off the beaten path. I mean, he actually legitimized Starro and to become the main, the main monster in the Suicide Squad movie, even though he wasn't really a bad guy at the end. So it was just for a short time. It was like the last half of his run. And no to Orion. He wouldn't have anything to do with that crap. So anyway, this is your pal Drew, and once again, if you care to check out these, there's a free preview on Amazon. And anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you have liked it, please hit the like and subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, which will tell you next time we do a video, you'll get notified. And please, I want you to pepper comments below. I want the comments section below to look like a bunch of army ants landed on them, because I think there's an opinion for all of these characters, and there's a case to be made for some of these characters. I'm just throwing mine out, and I'm not saying I know everything about that. Well, I mean, I almost know everything. But anyway, good day to all of you, and I am out of here. And have a good day, evening, night, morning. See ya.